Good evening, stock traders, and welcome to Stock Traders Talk Radio here on a beautiful Wednesday night, September 5th, 2012. I am your host, STT. Joining me on tonight's program, I have Stock Sumo.
Hey, good evening, STT. How you doing tonight, pal?
I am fantastic, sir. How about yourself?
I'm doing awesome.
That is good to hear. Very good to hear. Also joining us on the program tonight, I have Mr. KOP.
Hey, gentlemen, what's going on?
How's it going there, sir?
Loving it. What could be better?
It's all good around here. Tonight, we have a special look back, actually, but we're going to do another spotlight on MDHI. Tonight's spotlighter, I came up with that just now, guys, spotlighter. I'm going to use it on future shows, I think. Tonight's spotlighter is none other than Mr. KOP. Mr. KOP, take it away, sir.
Well, thanks there, STT. Well, for all the listeners, I'm sure you guys figured out that summer's over and September's here. We're going to start our spotlights and our CEO interviews and start just running like mad. I'm sorry we took off the summer, but the OTC market is one of those things where it's normally slow. However, there were a couple of decent months in there and holidays and those type of things. And if you remember correctly, once we get running, they get running pretty good. So the very first one, and we decided to do this one for various reasons. Medical Alarm Concepts Holding Inc., stock ticker MDHI. And very similar routine we're going to run with that we did last year is first thing, we love using iHub for what we do. And so basically I'm going to go to the iBox of iHub and we're going to start there. Plymouth Meeting, Pennsylvania is where the corporate headquarters are. Those of you that have been from that area will know that it's right near King of Prussia Mall in that area, so pretty big mall. Ronnie Adams assumed the CEO responsibilities on 6/1/12. On June 1, 2012, CEO Howard Teacher tenders his resignation for personal reasons. No hard feelings and those type of things. I read through a couple 8Ks and all that. And it gives a little background where Ronnie served as a CFO and president of Medical Alarm Concept Holding Inc. He's also served as a president and a CFO of a NASDAQ company that he started from inception and grew to over $60 million. So what is a Medipendent and home medical alarm and alert system, right? So I definitely want you to, do your DD, go through the iBox and those type of things and get as much information as you possibly can about any stock that's ever talked about by anybody. I mean, the idea is you want to get your own due diligence, your own concepts, because you're the only one that knows your trading styles. And those could be various, right? You could be a Momo player, you could be somebody that's long and hold, you can be somebody that's pattern and trend and those type of things, or you could be somebody who wants to drive down a stock and then find a bottom and then talk it up. Those people exist, believe me. I highly recommend you don't do that. It just isn't cool. But basically, they have a website, so I'm going to jump there real quick. It's a Medipendent Experience the Difference, seen on ESPN News, and it's medipendent.com. There's numerous websites where they have numerous different outsourcing things that actually go there. I believe Hoss did a spotlight probably about 4 weeks ago, and Sumo actually did a CEO interview where Ronnie came on there, talked about the state of the company, what they're doing, those type of things. And pretty informative to say the least. Now, there's good and bad with all companies as life will have it. So I'm going to jump back to the iBox. Right. So I'm not going to go through any of the details with this. Bottom line is they make a Medipendent that basically you can push that provides, if you look at this picture right here, the coverage with inside the house, patented two-way voice technology enables a user to speak and listen directly through the pendant no matter where they may be and around their home. Right. So huge value, especially for the older community and those type of things. They also have a lot of distribution. We'll go through the news and certain things like that to where they're venturing off into a lot of different countries internationally, as well as being online for Costco. And, that's a pretty big deal. To get in Costco, they don't just accept anybody. So, it's a process that you go through and all of that, and they're actually starting to make unit sales, which is a big deal. So the FAQs is pretty good here. What is it, right? We kind of just talked about that. Monitor medical alert device. What is the advantage? Enables the user to communicate directly through the pendant. Difficult to install? No, simple. How does product work? In emergency, simply push the button on the wearable pendant and to communicate with the operator. There's no need to use the regular telephone. Who answers the call when the button is pressed? An emergency response call center operator will answer the call. Life Safety Monitoring, a division of rapid response, is the exclusive call center for their product. Do you have to be near a base station to use the MetaPendant? No. Unlike most medical alert systems on the market today, you have to communicate directly. How far away can the pendant be from the base station? Well, it looks like 600 feet. Pretty easy. Pendant uses a Li-123 battery. It can be purchased at any local pharmacy. And if I remember correctly, about a year ago, they actually had some issues with battery life and those type of things. And over the course of the last year, the unit itself is pretty robust in what they did developing that and fixing the battery issues and those type of things. So it's pretty top of the line product for what it is. All right, Costco events, right? You can see some of those type of things. Costco sent out a promotional email on 6/8/2012 with the MetaPendant prominently displayed near the top of the email. This email is said to have sent to 13 million Costco subscribers, which, normally on anything like that, you're hoping for 1%. Well, you do the math on that. So clearly they're in the game. A lot of different videos that you can actually see with that. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky. Now, I don't like iBoxes that do this, okay? And the reason why I don't like it is because it means somebody brought emotion to the game. Bringing emotion to the game in stock investing is just stupid. Right. I mean, check it at the door, pretend like you know what you're doing, and be who you're supposed to be in trade stocks. So, I mean, it's really just dumb. Right. So what is it I don't like? All right. Here's the AS as of August 27, 2012. It's great that they're updating it. I appreciate that. I'm sure everybody else does. However, clearly they're not updating it for that. What they're trying to show you here, so I'll just spit it out because we just say it what it is they'll go all the way back here. Hey, look, in March, the OS was 316 million. Hey, in August 25th, the OS was 373 million. Hey, on August 27th, right, and that's 2011 right there, okay, it's 650 million. Right, so AS is you're about 150 million from AS to OS match. 800 million in the penny world is absolutely nothing. So thank you for iBox presenters for basically telling us that the OS has been increased. No crap. That's why the stock dropped all the way down to 30.0030. Doesn't do that because it's a product. It's because they diluted shares to basically build and get inventory and those type of things to be able to process what they're trying to do. But appreciate that. Matter of fact, who the hell's on this board? You guys don't mind if I segue here for a quick second, do you?
No, not at all.
Let me see who the. Here, let me hide the intro here. Florida girl flag. There's our man right there. GCRC. All right, how are you? Board's posted on. Let's see. MDHI 2014 post. That's good. All right, let's see what he's always go to the last one. When you're doing DD the whole thing so you can figure out what it is. All right, so what's he saying here? Almost have okay, great. I thought the commercial was well done. Clearly you like that. I'm not getting any cheapies today. Nice volume today. Hope you see some cheapies, all the buyers, blah, blah, blah. Good stuff. All right, so clearly you liked the stock in the beginning back in 2010. Let's see. Catch, yep. Somebody carrying a virus, blah, blah, blah. Great news, everyone. Oh, so you must have really liked it. That's right. I remember John Henry used to love this play. No sellers at 90 today, which means it was over a penny if you look back before. Unofficial spokesman, all that stuff. I agree 100%. Oh, here's a good one. Let's see, 1,000%. I agree 1,000%. Let's look at what you're saying here. I don't normally do this, but I think this is the right thing to do. And is why I own it. Great work on the Medicaid aspect. So basically, all right, it all makes sense. All right, so here's what you got. Let's just bounce someplace. All right, so somebody bought in at much higher. All right, good luck. Time will tell. The company has not put their own PR out. The stock and company is so broken. Oh, that's okay. So you went from a shareholder who propped them up and pumped it up because you believed and liked it. and then you went to somebody who has hate and discontent. All right, nothing wrong with that, I guess. Let's go to the first one. So you're still posting on it. So clearly you don't own shares, or you wouldn't be bashing it to this degree. All right, I got it. MDHI recurring dilution. Wow, dump city today on the bid side. Now is a week 75 and no transparency, no financials, no nothing. How is MDHI isn't bumped down to blah, blah, blah. He mentioned Costco no less than 20 times. Very interesting. The CEO uses the term right on time. More pump and dump stuff. Okay, all right. All right. I no value to the opinion. So here's basically, let me go back here again. Nothing worse than this, just for the record. All right, so let's go to the next one, flat foot. Let's see what we actually got going on here. Boards posted on. Oh, look at that. You 574 on that one. There we go. Let's go to your first one. Oh, look who you're posting to. GCRC all over the place. Imagine that. Are you the same person? Not really sure. Probably. All right, let's go back here. Pipe finance can be toxic. Okay, posting basically I-hour promoters. Wow, also notice bank overdraft fees of $15,000. Yep. All right, basically what these reference into there in the Edgar 10Q, actually the last financial way back when, what you end up having is where the two key points are the patent. To buy the patent was $2.5 million. They pay a certain amount of money per month, supposedly, on that patent, and they work with the patent owner. And recently, if I remember correctly, on the interview that Sumo did, I think the CEO addressed that drastically in the sense that they work with them directly and those type of things, where a lot of granted, a lot of shares are supposed to roll over here of late, I believe last month, of which they extended those warrants and a bunch of other things to positive to basically go the full way. All right, so we got so clearly we see where you're at. Okay, I want to bash the stock into the ground because I own it. Okay, that's probably not the case. Florida girl, well, how you doing? I remember you. Isn't that, wait a minute, Florida girl, isn't GCRC her dad, if I remember correctly? I don't want to talk about that on the radio, but I'll touch on some things here with that. All right, let's see what you're doing here. All right, so here we go. We go back to there we go. You're posting a GCRC. You're posting a flat foot. Okay, gotcha. Okay. All right, that kind of makes sense. All right, so here's what you got. You got a bunch of people that are basically out to destroy the company for whatever various reasons. I'm not exactly sure what that is. Now, I've read through a whole bunch of posts about different people and all that other type of stuff. But the bottom line is this. Okay, clearly, the company did not do well for about 2 years. Okay, I mean that's the truth of the matter. Let's just call it for what it is. Increased debt, had to dilute shares, as we noticed by the iBox. They pointed that out pretty good. I'm jumping to OTCmarkets.com for those that are following me. OTC Pink Limited, not good, right? Definitely not good. All right, so let's go to the quote. What do we got today? Okay, today you got 0.0047, up 17.5%, right, with the volume of 2,315,000. If you looked at the chart, you could see that those are late buys that were actually in the day, which is when we started actually profiling this company, it was around 0.0030, somewhere around there, still well above that. And you know, the take of it is this. This company's got a long way to go to get back to where it was. A lot of the PRs are very similar in nature from the past, right? Get that. Only saw about 1,000 posts with people saying that. And by the way, duplicate posts on iHub are spam, but you know, you guys do whatever it is that you do. The point being is, got it. You're absolutely right. So if you are the guy that is in this for a long-term investment, you have two choices to make. One, you either got to believe in the CEO and hope that they're actually enacting a lot of the pieces that they have been. And if you read the PRs, which we're going to jump there next. All right. So, well, hold on one second. Let me get to the company up here. All right. Company info. All right. So basically what you got is the King of Prussia. Imagine that. The website one of the websites that we were just at. Share structure is not updated correctly on the on OTC. I would get that fixed. Make a note of that, so where you guys can send them an email on that, because I mean that's something. Authorized share, you always want that available right here, and the shares outstanding is clearly way off base. So this needs to be updated. And it's a good way. I mean, I prefer OTC markets to be updated and accurate, and allow that to be the communication with potential shareholders or shareholders, because, you know, frankly, anybody can post anything on a message board and it means absolutely nothing. It's just a message board. It's not official communications of any form. However, as you notice, that's where they had the AS and those type of things, and the OS, which potentially are probably pulling some from some filings. So let's jump there real quick. I want to do the news first. Today it had news, which is pretty good, and were they on Small Cap Voice here recently? I believe that's what this was, right? Stuart Smith is a damn rock star. I love that guy. Does really well. Manufacturer two-way voice pennant alarm. Basically, investors with business update and releases on an audio interview with CEO Ronnie Adams, to where he comments about current growth in the business and the corporation's path to profitability, and discusses other recent successes. I highly recommend you go listen to that. All right. I have not actually listened to that, but Stuart Smith does a great job, and he's really good at what he does. In this audio interview, he outlines the business has fundamentally changed over the past few months. Oh, look at that. The business has changed over the past few months. Clearly, those with hate and discontent, you might want to either, you know, listen to what he has to say, or see if it's, or you probably just don't believe that it changed, but whatever. Our call volumes have risen dramatically, and order levels have fallen to such a degree that we're in the process of adding additional staff to assist with taking orders and activating services. All right, so clearly they're getting orders, and they're making revenues, which is good. So let's talk about some of this stuff. Order spike. Over the past 48 hours, approximately 32 new orders were taken and many activations and upsells completed. This is an increase in the level of business activity over 400% from just a few months ago. Management believes the company is moving into its busiest time of the year and expects continued order acceleration through the year end. Now, here, note this, guys, because one thing that I would definitely want to know with this, where are these orders coming from? If this is from that Costco 13 million mailer, and they're starting to get pops on this thing, this could be pretty lucrative in a lot of different ways. Google AdWord campaigns, right? Company recently kicked that off. International shipments to Denmark have begun, with an order from Ireland expected over the short term. Additional contracts are being worked for Australia, Slovenia, and several other European countries. I'm wondering what the big advantage is with that. So we'll have to look into that as well. Balance sheet restructuring. The balance sheet restructuring included recent debt forgiveness and consolidation, cancellation of 165 million toxic warrants to pay down trades payable, and increases in working capital and inventories. All right, I consider that a big plus, as anybody would, whether they're negative or not. Financial reporting. The company has notified its accountants to begin the process during the month of September of preparing financials in order to return the company to full reporting status. Oh, GCRC, you're getting your answer right there. So clearly you're going to see some financials here soon. Now, I don't know if you've ever been promised those before or anything like that, but clearly it says right here in OTC markets that's their intent. Capital structure. Mr. Adams commented that there are approximately 631 million shares outstanding, placing the market capitalization at approximately 2.5 million. Management believes this market cap will grow significantly as the company approaches profitability. Okay, profit loss. The current acceleration of the revenue growth trajectory places the company on track to become profitable over the short term as the signing of monthly contracts continue to accelerate. Upcoming promotion and distributor orders are expected to be additive to this fast approaching profitability. By the way, just a quick little thing right here. I kind of want to note something out. Order spike, right? 32 new news orders, right? Got a little spelling there. Always look for those type of things, right? Attention to detail. Get that. All right. The contact medical alarm contact they're holding. You can give them a call, 877-639-2929, extension 113, prnewswire.com, right? All right. Good stuff, right? Good news. Now let's go to the financials, which we know we don't have, but I want to see what they got. All right. So what you're seeing here is basically they got nothing. All right. Right? No balance sheet quarterly because it's not updated. Right? You guys can all see it right there. Not in there. So let's go to the filings. All right, filings. What are you seeing? All right, so we got the 8K. I would assume, okay, August 10th. I'm sure this is about the warrants. Let's just double check. Okay, companies agree with the cooperation. Common stock, warrant holders. There it is. Okay, so there's the filing. Tells you the warrants, date the warrants were issued, and number of warrants canceled in the details below. And that's where your 60 million is. All right, so good to go there. All right, jumping back, let's go to the other 8K, August 7th. All right, they did 2 of them. This must be one to tell you that they're going to do warrants. Reach the agreement. Warrant holders who canceled their warrant positions. Yeah, okay, as expected. Here's a key piece. Issued components in the press release discussing the customer upgrade rate at its large retail partner, largest warehouse club store chain in the United States. Management indicated that the customer upgrade rate has now climbed to in excess of 75%, providing the company with additional high margin revenue. The company also commented that the same retail partner has given the company an estimate of between 1,500 and 2,500 units for significant promotion. The retailer plans for early fall 2012. Whoa, September 2012. Wait, that's now. Additionally, the company disclosed that it has sold approximately 4,000 Metapennants units during the June quarter, expects to exceed the amount for September quarter. All right, good stuff. All right, so that's definitely moving in the positive direction. Okay, so now you got another 8K. This is the one from where are we at here? Okay, July. Company arranged with one of its retail partners, the largest membership warehouse store in the U.S., right? Clearly, that's Costco. Participate in seasonal fall 2000 promotional mailer. That was the recent mailer, hence why you got the new thing that just happened. So you're kind of tying some pieces together. A lot of the same information here, though. The initial order is for 500 units with additional orders expected on the ongoing basis. All right, here's your key tip there, MDHI. On the stuff that you guys are doing, right, and you're announcing we are going to do, don't file we are going to do on some of this stuff. File the stuff that we've already done. I mean, shareholders, everybody wants to hear about, they want news. I mean, they're going to beat down your door because I want news, I want news, I want news. But at the end of the day, it's about revenue generation and about what you can actually do or what you've actually accomplished to create that revenue, right? Intent is great. I think everybody intends to do awesome. But just a big twist that I think that, we can go through the boards and the message boards over the course of the last few years, and there's a couple things that are kind of common trends here. So let's just call it for what it is, and it is and that is a lot of hopes and forward thinking, right? A lot of things with a lot of websites, a lot of outsourcing, a lot of different things like that. And as with anything in business, I'm sure some of the things just kind of didn't flow the way they should have, right? It's very common. As long as it doesn't come a point to where the only thing that you're doing is producing stock to be your product, which clearly that's not the case here, you normally get a benefit of the doubt with some of that. Now, as that time extends beyond the 6 month to the 1 year to the 2 years, and you get to that stage, you're going to have disgruntled investors, right? So as annoying as it may be that there are so many people out there that, at least my favorite place, Investors Hub, have taken over your board and are continually to bash it. I'm sure there are a lot of supporters out there that basically don't post because they don't want to deal with the crap. So you got some fences to mend in some aspects with that. And the way you mend fences is you just perform, sustain superior performance. That's all you do. You develop your business plan, you set your milestone, you set your gates, you increase revenue over each quarter, and you consistently do that. And over time, those individuals that just want to keep bashing your performance have no leg to stand on. Now, I will say this, them putting out the fact that they want financials, I would say the same thing. I want financials, right? Because I want to know what I'm investing in, and I'm glad you actually put that out there on your press release that you plan to do it, right? And here's the big complaint, right? You look at this August 26th, 2011, all right, and let's pull this up. All right, so you got your 10Q that's actually out. So let's see what you got on your financial statements. And this is from March 31st, 2011, right? So clearly, you're about 18 months in the red there on what they're saying. So I can't argue that. I mean, that's something you need to do, and I'm glad you're doing that. So let's look at the key pieces of this, right? Of course, the share structure and certain things are going to be different. The warrants are going to be different from all the PRs and the different AKs that you have. But what I want to see is this: the patent payable is the 2.5 million. I want to know if that's still 2.5 million. That would be something I want to know as an investor. The other thing is, and this is the thing I was talking about here. If you look at the bank overdraft, right? Bank overdraft of 21,000. Not sure what happened there. Normally, when you have that, is you have some high checks flying out, and you're living paycheck to paycheck in some aspects. So glad to see that you're actually moving to the direction where revenues are actually starting to come in and the orders are starting to be filled. So let's look at what else we got here. Inside, no, you got nothing really right there. So on the website, anything else? All right, let me jump over here. I saved something because I thought it was interesting. Okay. All right. Here's another one, right? And I recently went through, and I probably went through about 100 posts and just saw some trend of stuff that just, isn't what you want to see on a message board. So challenge my knowledge, right? Which, basically put together a very nice post here, which it goes through a lot of different press releases that you had over time, right? Many of them concentrate on different aspects of different stuff, and and many of it, which is I would say somewhat duplicated to a degree. Now, I would assume that different outsourcing avenues that where you go down a path with a distributor and you're working with an outsource, you do your marketing campaign, then you learn from that and you go to the next one, and some people perform and some people don't. So some of the same press releases actually apply, but at the end of the day, it comes down to performance, and it is really good to see that you're doing that. So what I really would like to do, Sumo, is I want to get Ronnie back on. And what I want to see is I want two things. Here's what I want, right, as an investor. And you guys know we got a lot of listeners that listen to stock. Do I believe this stock will run? That answer is yes, right? 0.0047. If you look at the chart, which we're going to actually do here in a little bit, do I think you're going to be able to clip 50% off of this? And I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not allowed to give financial advice and those type of things. I just think that based off the trend analysis and certain things that's actually been happening in the whole of the 40 and all of that, I think it has some huge potential. Now, what comes with that is buying volume, right? Supply and demand is a very key thing. When you look at the supply and demand, and you look at, when you go into DD and Mandy and you look over time, where are these stock sales actually coming from and the range and who's holding and where they're at and all that, right? You're actually in a decent area. Now, with the big tick up of the 17% that you actually saw today, I'm not sure what that's all about. So, would I initially wait in the morning to see that if you can get it down a little cheaper if you're going in? Of course, right? You want to maximize your return on investment for what's happening after the first half hour. If you don't see any movement, then look at it what it is. And I'm not allowed to tell you to buy, so do your own due diligence, all that regular type of stuff. The bottom line is there's potential for some changing the guard of actually what's happening here. And that's really what I'm trying to drive at. I mean, we can sit here and bash the company to the nth degree on past performance, with the exception of probably the last 3 months, on what they've been able to accomplish, what they've been able to do, what they haven't been able to do, and those type of things. And that's great, right? Emotion is a beautiful thing. I guess if you're hanging out with your wife or your significant other, I mean, emotion probably should apply there. However, in stocks, it doesn't. It's just a foolish way to go about it. And if you're looking to grind the axe, grind the axe. I mean, I don't know why you would use Investors Hub to do that, but it is what it is. So the point is, you got some possibilities with a lot of different things. And if you're probably the next thing you're going to ask is, are you being paid to speak about this? Are we compensated to bring awareness to the stock? You're damn right we are. And so there you have that. Now, with that being said, I can tell you this: I don't take stocks that don't get gains, period, right? And if you haven't been watching the show or anything like that over the course of the last few years, you'll learn that. If you're looking for the stock that's going to dump all over the place, that's not what we do. Our goal is long-term investments that actually have a product that's not stock. That's number one. Number two is disclosure. And as I pointed out, there's definitely some more disclosure that has to happen here. I want financials. I would definitely want financials on this, right? Or at least the CEO to come out and basically say, okay, here's where I'm targeting on projected forecasted for the course of the next 2 months. This is my marketing segmentation plan. These are my gates and milestones. If I reach those gates and milestones, here's what my 1 year to 5 year plan is and how it changes and what happens with it. And go from there. I mean, you got to have the information to do whatever it is. If you don't have any information to make a proper investment, okay, then you're all just here talking to yourselves and you're just gambling. I mean, that's foolish. So bottom line is get the information that you can, and then we'll go with what it is. All right, that's pretty much all I got, and I'd definitely like to do the chart. You got the chart, Sumo?
Yes, sir. Good job. One of the key things I want to point out on the chart, we're going to go back a 1 year chart. One of the key things is the moving averages. The 20-day moving average is starting to climb, and we're getting a golden cross formation. You got the 20-day moving average sharply rising here, and it's approaching the 100-day moving average. Now let's take a look at the history of the stock and see what has happened in the past when the 20-day moving average turns up off that bottom. We've seen the golden cross here. You've seen the stock break out. Happened again back here in December, early in the year. The 20-day moving average came up, boom, busted through the 200-day at that time, saw the big run up. So we're getting a similar formation here. You're getting a golden cross. You're getting that 20-day rising sharply towards that 100-day. I'd like to see that 20-day continue to climb and punch through that 100-day. There's going to be key resistance at the 200-day. Notice the last time the stock had a move up, it ran into resistance right by that 200-day, couldn't get above it. So that's going to be our key level of resistance to break. If the stock can get above that resistance, chances are it could go higher. Notice the last time the stock broke above the 200-day moving average, boom, stock exploded. So that's going to be our key level of resistance, and I'd like to see the support hold off of the 50-day, which is currently at 004. I want to point out some of these other indicators on the chart that I like the way that they're forming, and I'm going to go over to an annotated chart that I created earlier, posted this up on the board. You can see that I pointed out the golden cross formation. The other key thing is the accumulation and distribution has been steadily climbing after it came off of being at an all-time low back here in June. About June 10th, June 11th, it looks like the accumulation distribution bottomed out, and once it got above the 50 DMA, the accumulation distribution has been steadily climbing. So that's looking strong. You got the RSI showing some strength as it's pointing north. Notice this RSI is also holding above the 50 DMA. We like to see the moving averages hold as support, as in the case here. Notice the last time the RSI got up in the power zone, the stock broke out and had a nice run. So if this RSI can continue to move north and get up in the power zone, that'll be a very good sign. Taking a look at the slow stow, we got a crossover on the slow stow, which is key. That's a very bullish sign, and it's also happening above the 50 MA overlay. So all these indicators, the slow stow, the PPO, the RSI, the accumulation distribution, notice they're all well above the 50 MA overlay. So that's showing some nice strength. So all in all, I like the makeup of this chart, and the key thing that we look at are support and resistance, and I pointed that out in the beginning. Key resistance is that 200-day moving average at 0053, and the key support is going to be that 50-day, which is at 0038. Good stuff.
Oh yeah, it'll be interesting to watch how this all pans out. Bash away, bring it on.
Bring it on. Oh boy. Very nice job there, Mr. Cop. I know it's been a long time since you've done one of these.
It's riding a bike.
Riding a bike, though, huh? Jump right back in the saddle. Good stuff. Sumo, good chart there. All right. Very good. MDHI, looking good. A lot of things, you got to remember, every sale is recurring revenues for the company, as
Well,
there is a monthly fee associated with it.
I mean, that's the thing. It's so difficult to compare a company that from 4 months ago to now when they have revenues. Now, granted, I mean, they got debt. I mean, there's definitely no doubt about it. They got to get those financials out. I mean, that's really, really, really key. So, as much as I don't like, the entire board full of nothing but bashers, which, it makes no sense. It's not logical. I mean, why waste your time unless, if you got something against the company or a particular person, then, handle it accordingly, go file civil claim or something. I don't know, but, doing the things that you do on the board doesn't make much sense. But the bottom line is they do have one point. If I'm going to invest in your company, tell me what I'm investing in, right? Don't just tell me what the product is. I get that, and I know you're telling me you got sales. I get that, and you're telling me the amount, but you definitely want the revenue stream, because then you can tie that to the share structure, and then you get a legitimate market cap that represents it. And if this Costco thing keeps going the way it's going, with these drastic increases over over month to month from what they're talking about on their press releases, there could be something very substantial here.
Yes, but for a company that's just starting out,
oh yeah, it's in good shape.
On a basis of what I understand, that costs thousands and thousands of dollars to file your financials.
True.
Okay. Now, let's say, for example, we're not just generally talking about MDHI. We're talking about our pink sheet world in general right now.
Right.
Okay. Wouldn't you rather see your company, if they are and have to dilute shares, wouldn't you rather see them do that for research and development, or, putting supplies in a warehouse and so forth, instead of spending, 15, 20 grand on financials that are going to tell you, okay, we're not making any money right now?
Well, it's a double-edged sword, right? Because here's the deal. They're paying us.
Yeah.
You see, you know what I mean? So you're making competent decisions based off what's going on. So, when you want two things as anything with a company, right? You want the operational side to go well, to increase revenues and those type of things. And on the stock side, you want happy shareholders. Because now you get more leverage, your stock prices go up, right? The market will pick what the price per share needs to be. It has nothing to really do with what the company wants, whether they do market awareness and those type of things. I mean, you can get, and let's just call it for what it is, guys, right? I mean, you can get pump and dumps out there. You can get steady strain, staircase stocks, because people that come in and start, they believe in the company, they believe in the CEO, they believe in their direction, and basically the supply and demand equation flips. So what ends up happening is the supply is not as much as the demand. Hence, you'll have a staircase up, right? Charts trend and all that regular type of stuff. And clearly that's their goal. But you are right that whatever they did to change their marketing segmentation and their outsourcing by being able to get in Costco is now creating revenues. Now, I didn't do enough DD on all the different places that they tried to sell the Meta pennant over time and all that other stuff, where it worked, where it didn't work, and all that. I mean, that's business. I mean, that's business, right? When something doesn't work, you change something work. Well, they got something that's working, right? This international piece where they're actually selling units is working for them. So, they're going to dive in and do more market segmentation all over the place there. That would make sense, right? So I do agree with you, but yet it's a very fine balance, and it's really up to a lot of different things. I mean, sometimes some companies will just say, you know what, hey, I'm focusing 100% on business, and the share price will take care of itself. I mean, I kind of applaud the guy to a certain degree, that the fact that he's trying to get the word out all over the place in the stock market about what his stock is. Now that could and what the company's all about. Now there could be various reasons for that, right? Now all the people in different companies and different things that have warrants and have those things where they have lent the company money to buy the inventories and stuff like that. It's not necessary always to sell stock. But they damn well don't want the stock to go down, right? They want it to go up over time. So the company has some responsibilities to them as well as to the regular shareholders who buy in the open market in common stock, as well as their employees that they actually have. And that's one thing I read, is there's a couple key pieces about that where they take very minimal salaries to be able to achieve this. So they are highly invested in the stock itself, right? So that means they definitely believe in the company. They believe in the direction that it's going, and they believe it's going to be successful. Now it's just, you just keep hitting the pavement and you keep, driving that direction. So, I mean, they're definitely going in the right direction. There's no doubt about that.
Okay. All right. Very good stuff. Don't forget, catch the morning show Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Investors Hub. Mr. KOP, well done. Mr. Sumo, nice job tonight.
Always a pleasure.
You actually did not interrupt me once tonight. It's always a good sign. Always a good sign. All right, guys, let's wrap it up for tonight. Good job. We'll be back again tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our morning show is 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For all those listening, we wish you the best in all your trades, and may your portfolios always be green. This is Stock Traders Talk Radio, and we are out.
Thank you for listening to Stock Traders Talk Radio. All views and topics talked about on Stock Traders Talk Radio is solely for entertainment purposes. We are not professional financial advisors and always recommend you seek the advice of a professional financial advisor. Never invest in any stock featured on our show unless you can afford to lose your entire investment. The information contained on our show is based on sources which we believe to be reliable, but is not guaranteed by us as being accurate, and might not be a complete statement or summary of the available data. Stock Traders Talk Radio advises that the investments in companies profiled are commonly considered to be high risk, and use of the information provided is at the investor's sole risk. Thank you for listening to Stock Traders Talk Radio.